He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 He's got the you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got the you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got the you and me, brother. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, sister. In his hands, he's got you and me, sister. In his hands, he's got you and me, sister. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the tiny little baby. In his hands, he's got the tiny little baby. In his hands, he's got the tiny little baby. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands.
One, everybody here. In his hands, he's got everybody here. In his hands, he's got everybody here. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. Well, hello to everybody who's listening on the podcast, and I'm here today with all of Year 1 from St Thomas of Canterbury here in Bolton, and we're thinking about God's creation. So we're thinking about all the wonderful things that God has made. So the children have been telling me before all the favourite different animals, so we'd love to hear some of them now. It needs to be a really big loud voice. So where shall we go?
Okay, Scarlett.
Baby unicorn.
Okay then.
Otis.
Camels.
Camels.
Musa.
Cheetahs and leopards.
Cheetahs and leopards. Elena.
Jaguars and snow leopards.
Oh, cheetahs and jaguars and snow leopards.
Horses and kangaroos.
Horses and kangaroos.
Horses and reindeers.
Oh, and reindeers.
Maroon. Zebras.
Zebras. Wonderful. We'll just have a couple more.
Toby.
Giraffes and penguins.
Giraffes and penguins.
Giraffes and
Daisy.
penguins.
Penguins and turtles.
Penguins and turtles. Right. Wonderful. Let's put our hands down there. Wonderful. And I'm sure there's lots more hands up going up because there's lots of different animals and different things that we love about the world. Can we think of other things that we might love about the world that aren't animals? Can we think about some other things that, that we might see? That aren't animals. Things that we might look at when we go into the countryside or... Flowers, yes. Yeah, beautiful. A rainbow, yes. The sunset. Mountains.
Molly.
Horses.
Oh, that's an animal.
Wonderful.
Jack.
In the sky when it is sunny.
In the sky when it's sunny. Wonderful. Let's put our hands up. So there's lots of things about our world, and some of the things are like the animals, and some of the things are all like the trees and the mountains and the grass and the flowers and all these wonderful things that we see as part of God's creation. Now, how can we find out? How can we find out about God's creation? How can we find out? Who can help us answer that one? Oh, on a laptop. In the Bible and in science. And I promise I didn't set up that answer.
Elspeth, where can we learn?
At church as well, yes.
Ivy.
Sometimes maybe I forgot.
Okay.
It'll come back in a
Jessie?
minute.
Airplane.
On an aeroplane.
Well, we
sometimes
could
on a
do.
magazine, on
Where
a-
are we all now?
In school.
Ah, so we can learn in school. And what different lessons help us to learn? What different lessons help us to learn? R.E.
Done.
Yeah.
Spell it. DT. perhaps.
Yeah, how things work.
Olivia?
Yeah.
Good girl.
Science.
Nada.
Geography.
Geography.
And Uzo, which other one? History.
And history. So we have all these different lessons that help us to learn about God's world. So we have the book of the Bible, right? And that helps us learn about God, and it helps us understand that God has made the world. In the story of creation in Genesis, we have this beautiful way of telling us the story of creation. We also have what St. Augustine talked about, which is the book of nature. And that means for us to look at the world and the universe and everything in it, all the different things we said and lots of other things as well. And through that, to have a sense of wonder and amazement and keep learning about things. And that's why it's so important for us to learn geography and history and RE and science. One of the Psalms says, "Great are the works of the Lord, to be pondered by all who love them." And that was written over the doorway of one of the first laboratories in Oxford. So when we do our science, we're learning about, through the book of nature, about God's creation and understanding that. And it's very important that when we look at it, we have that sense of wonder and awe. And a lot of scientists believe in God, and a lot of scientists have come to believe in God because they've looked at the world in all different ways and I continue to be amazed by it and see that there's a sense of purpose and order and design to it. What's very special about our fingerprints? Who can tell me what's very special about those squiggly bits at the end of our fingers?
Elijah, go on.
They're all different. And that helps me think we're not just here by chance. And there's lots of things that remind us that there are patterns in the universe, in the way. When we do mathematics is another good way for us to learn about the universe and everything in it. So when we think about the book of nature as well as the Bible, then that helps us understand about God. So it's really good that we ask questions about the world and about nature, and we keep learning about it. And we had a very good question, because if we're saying, well, if God made everything, then the really good question is, what did you ask me? Who made God? Who made God? Well, it's a really good question. And the way I would begin to try and explain that is to say, imagine if I did two paintings. And one painting, and somehow they were able to talk to each other. We'll have to go with that to help. And one painting turned to the other and said, "Who painted Father Chris?" And I said, "He's not a painting, he's the painter." So that's what we're saying, is that God is the creator of everything, but he's not a created being. And that's really important for us always to understand that. Now, I think that you've done really well helping me explain to the people listening to the podcast why it's important that we do all the different subjects and learn through the book of nature about God's creation. So let's finish by singing He's Got the Whole World in His Hands again. Ready? He's got the whole world in His hands. He's got the whole world in His hands. He's got the whole world in His hands. He's got the whole. And we'll finish and just say bye-bye to everyone. Bye bye bye.